I leaned over to my best friend in the world and whispered a secret. God, he's so hot. I totally want to make out with him. I wasn't lying. It was a scientific experiment. And just like I predicted, within 48 hours, she had slept with him in the front seat of his car. And it was, according to her, the worst experience of her life. My hypothesis was correct. My best friend wasn't my friend at all. She was a predator. And I had just become her handler. Welcome back to the channel, Comrades in Chaos. Have you ever had a friend who just couldn't let you have anything? The kind of person who, the second you show interest in something, a hobby, an outfit, a guy, suddenly has to have it for themselves. That feeling of being constantly one-upped, of having your joy stolen by someone who's supposed to be on your team. It's a special kind of betrayal. And if you've ever dreamed of conducting a little social experiment to prove just how toxic that person truly is, then you are in for a treat. Hit that subscribe button and get ready for a story of revenge so elegantly simple, it's practically a work of art. The restaurant was our entire world. It was a massive 2-story beast of a place, constantly swarming with customers and staff. It was the kind of environment that breeds instant friendships and even faster drama. You're in the trenches together, and bonds form quickly. That's where I met Chloe. She was my after-work drinking buddy, my partner in crime for lazy days off. We'd gossip for hours, dissecting every interaction, every look from every guy in the place. She felt like a sister, my bestie. In the chaotic whirlwind of serving trays and late-night parties, she was my constant. We had an unspoken code. If one of us liked a guy, he was off limits to the other. Simple, basic friend etiquette. I lived by it. If she pointed out a cute guy at a bar and said, "Ooh, I'd hit that," I'd immediately mentally file him away as Chloe's prospect. I'd even wingman for her. But I started to notice a pattern. A weird, unsettling one. It was always so subtle at first. We'd be at a bar and I'd nod toward a guy and say, dialogue, protagonist's voice casual. "Hey, check out the guy in the green shirt. He's got a nice smile." Chloe would squint, shrug and say, dialogue, Chloe's voice dismissive. He's okay, I guess." But then, like clockwork, 10 minutes later, she'd be over there, laughing a little too loudly at his jokes, flipping her hair, buying him a drink. The guy I just pointed out. I'd brush it off. Coincidence. She's just social. Then it happened at work. There was a new host, sweet and shy. I mentioned to Chloe I thought he was adorable. Dialogue, protagonist's voice excited. "Oh my God, the new host, Jake? He's so cute. I'm gonna ask him about his band next time I see him." Chloe's response was a blank stare. Dialogue, Chloe's voice flat. "Who? Oh, him. Yeah, whatever." The very next day, I walked into the break room to find her sitting right next to him, her hand on his arm, leaning in close. "So you're a drummer. That's so cool." She didn't even look at me. The pattern was undeniable. It wasn't coincidence. It was a compulsion. Any time I expressed interest in a guy, it was like a switch flipped in her brain. She didn't even necessarily want him. She just had to have him. She had to prove that she could. My interest was the only ingredient needed to make a guy desirable to her. It was a deeply lonely feeling. I started to second-guess everything I said. I felt like I was walking on eggshells around my own best friend. My crushes were no longer my own. They were just bait I was unconsciously throwing out for her to snatch. The resentment started to build, hot and acidic in my gut. It wasn't about the guys. Most of them I barely cared about. It was the principle, the disrespect, the sheer, unadulterated fakeness of our entire friendship. I started testing my theory in small ways. I point out a random customer. "Wow, that guy looks like a young Keanu Reeves." Within the hour, she'd be, accidentally, bumping into his table. It was a game to her. A sick, one-sided competition I never agreed to play. And I was always the loser. I felt powerless. If I called her out, she'd gaslight me. Dialogue, Chloe's voice defensive. "What are you talking about? You never said you liked him. I didn't even know you were interested. God, you're so possessive." I began to dread our hangs. The fun was gone, replaced by this constant low-grade anxiety. Who would I have to pretend not to like today to keep her from stealing him? My friendships with other women suffered because I was so hyper-focused on managing Chloe's insecurities. She wasn't a best friend. She was a black hole of neediness, sucking up any scrap of male attention that came near me to feed her bottomless ego. She was a pick-me girl of the highest order, and I was her unwilling supplier. The breaking point was a Tuesday shift. I was restocking the garnish station, slicing lemons with a little too much force, stewing over another guy she'd subtly moved in on. My mind was racing. Internal monologue. Frustrated, this is insane. I can't even have a thought without her trying to steal it. It's like she has a radar for my interest and just has to stop. The knife hovered in midair. Internal monologue. Slow. Dawning, she has a radar for my interest. What if I aimed that radar? What if I controlled what it detected? A slow, sly smile spread across my face. This wasn't about getting back at her with a guy I actually wanted. This was about proving a point. To myself. To the universe. I needed the most undesirable, most obviously terrible candidate possible. A guy so gross, so universally acknowledged as a bad idea, that her only reason for wanting him would be because I did. And then, like a gift from the universe, I saw him. Sam was a walking, talking red flag. He was a line cook who thought his mediocre skills with a spatula made him God's gift to women. He was famously, notoriously a dog. He had a girlfriend he constantly cheated on with any server who would give him the time of day. He wasn't even that cute. He had a weird, cocky swagger that some girls mistook for confidence. He'd once tried to hit on me, leaning against the expo line, smelling like fry oil and arrogance. I'd shut him down with a look so cold it could freeze hell. He'd been annoyed ever since. Sam was perfect. He was my nuclear option. The plan was simple. It was clean. It was beautiful. I would feed the beast exactly what it craved, and I would watch it choke. I waited for the perfect moment. It was Friday night after a slammed shift. We were all at our usual dive bar, decompressing with cheap beer. Chloe was there, holding court, basking in the attention of a few busboys. I sidled up to her, leaning in close like I was sharing the most delicious secret. I put on my best dreamy, impressed face. Dialogue, protagonist's voice, conspiratorial whisper. Oh my God, Chloe. Look at Sam over there. I don't know what it is, but he is looking so hot tonight. I think I actually want to make out with him. He sold it. Bit my lip. I glanced over at him like he was a piece of prime ribeye. I watched her face. Her eyes flicked from me to Sam and back to me. I saw the familiar switch flip. The competitive gleam. The calculated assessment. Her expression shifted from Sam the gross cook to Sam the prize my friend wants. She shrugged, doing her best impression of nonchalance. Dialogue, Chloe's voice. Dismissive, really? Him. Okay. Whatever floats your boat, I guess. But I saw it. The hook was set. The very next night, Saturday, we were all out again. I watched her all night. She was a predator on the hunt. She strategically positioned herself near him, laughed a little too loud at his stupid jokes, played with her hair, and then they disappeared. Together. I didn't have to wait long for the fallout. On Monday, she found me in the locker room. She looked disheveled and miserable. Dialogue, Chloe's voice complaining, ugh. I hooked up with Sam this weekend. I widened my eyes, feigning surprise and interest. Oh my God. Really? How was it? She launched into a tirade. Dialogue, Chloe's voice disgusted. It was so gross. It was in his car. Smelled like old French fries. It was like 2 minutes. He's a horrible kisser. It was literally the worst hookup of my entire life. I have no idea what I was thinking. I nodded sympathetically, making all the right noises. Oh no. That's awful. But inside I was doing a victory dance so epic it deserved its own theme music. She hadn't done it because she liked him. She hadn't done it for fun. She had done it for one reason and one reason only. Because I said I wanted to. She had taken the bait, hook, line, and sinker, and landed herself in a front-seat nightmare of regret and friolator stench. My experiment was a resounding success. I had finally, definitively proven what I already knew. Our friendship was a lie. I was just a source of validation for her endless hunger. I didn't confront her. I didn't need to. The evidence was irrefutable. I had finally taken back control. I had weaponized her own insecurity against her and watched her walk directly into a trap of her own making. I slowly distanced myself after that. The friendship faded, and I didn't miss it for a second. Sometimes, the most satisfying revenge isn't a loud explosion. It's the quiet, private knowledge that you were right all along. If the image of a toxic friend getting exactly what she deserved, a terrible hookup with a gross guy, fills you with joy, then do me a favor. Hit that like button and let me know in the comments if you've ever had a pick-me friend. And of course, subscribe for more stories of brilliant social experiment-style revenge. Until next time, choose your friends wisely.